So we're back again for another catch-up, and it's been a right weird year. I've sort of lost what we're up to, but definitely since the last one, it's just been on the change. I mean, everything's starting to change, everything's getting colder, and the fishing is most definitely getting a lot harder. But for me, it's been a weird month, or probably about 6 weeks since we caught up. I've had my last 2 Maver Match This qualifiers of the year, which are I think they had, I'm going to say 8. They had 8 qualifiers this year for next year's final. I still haven't got my finger out, and I haven't even been close to getting in. But the 2 that I had one shocker. I had one at Tunnelbarn Farm where I drew peg 32 on high pool, which sitting down, I was mega happy with. I sat down and thought, yeah, this is nice. Do you know what I mean? For the day it was meant to be, it was potentially a 100, 120, 130 pound day. And I thought, yeah, do you know what I mean? I had a chance with a nice steady match. Maybe I could catch 100 pound, but I was very wrong. And typically to everywhere, for whatever reason, whether it's pressure, weather, who knows what, a lot of bait. I think the fish is sick of getting fished for and getting caught at all these venues that they're going to, and it fished really hard, as everywhere is at the minute. And I had a shocker. I had about 40 pound and I chucked back with an hour to go. It was really difficult, but really frustrating then, because it was still quite warm back in, I think it was start of September that. I'm going to say it was start of September. It was still quite warm, so it should have really been good. So you can see all the fish present all over the place. I mean, lots of movement and bubble. You can't get a bite. They would drive me flipping mad, which has been definitely the theme for a lot of matches I've been fishing recently. So that was a write-off. I think that got one. I forget who won that one. You have to excuse me, I forgot who won that one. A young lad off peg 9 or 10 on extension. 9 on extension won 130 pound. And it did. It fished quite tricky, that. I think there was only 300 pounds, which is, for tunnel, that's a tricky day. After that, we were on the Partridge one. So the last qualifier of the year was up at Partridge, which, I mean, I was made up. I like Partridge that time of year. It's nice, not too much shallow fishing, just sensible fishing. And I drew a mega peg, or potential mega peg, for any other time of year. I drew peg 2 spey, which is it's a mega shallow F1 peg when they're playing. I mean, when the F1s feed on spade, they're about that big. You know what I mean? They're great big massive things. So if they're not moody, which unfortunately they are, it's a serious contender potentially to win the match. And I thought, same again, a nice low weight, 110, 120 pound could have been the winner. And yeah, I thought, I mean, doable. I didn't know what I was going to do. I still hoped that I could catch it on the bottom. I mean, my plan was to fish maggots and pellets on bottom, just tick over with pellets in the shallowish water across, sort of 2.5 foot and shallower, 3 foot and shallower, and then maggots down the middle. That was my plan, and the edges as well. But same again, there was just fish absolutely everywhere, and I couldn't catch fish. I mean, I messed it up big time. Then I made a big mistake on that day, in that I started off with my pellets and ticked over lovely. I was catching an odd fish, not bagging by any stretch of the imagination, but I was catching, excuse me, probably 10 pound an hour, maybe a little bit more. It was all right for the first hour and a half. I was ticking over, thought, this is nice, this. And I was getting loads of liners, and they were driving me mad. Next to this weed bed across, I had this one tuft across. So I thought, right, I'm here to win. Ticking over how I'm going. I'm going to have a nice day. I'm going to weigh 60, 70 pound. And I'm going to win the lake. Maybe that's the best I can hope for. I'm not going to be in the gang. So I picked up my catty, got my casters, and I've given some bait to try and catch shallow, which is the way, pretty much the way of winning on that peg, if I'm honest. I think it's the way you've got to go to get a weight capable. And I blew the absolute nuts off my peg. It couldn't have gone worse from that point. I think I've ended the match. Again, I've not even weighed. I don't think I had 30 pound. I mean, I'll have been very close to 30 pound. I should have weighed, to be fair. 36 won the section, but I don't think I had that. I think I had just 30 pound, if that. And Steve won the lake with 50 pound off the top end. But same again, there's fish absolutely everywhere, and you can't get bites. I mean, they're mooching all over the place. They're letting you know how useless you are, but they're not feeding at the minute for whatever reason. Or they weren't then. And that was still in that period of really high pressure, really warm weather, when they just, I don't know, something just knocked them off, and they weren't feeding at every venue I went to. So on that day, again, I forget his name again. It's a funny name, the fella. But peg 98 won the match, which is a very nice carp peg with 116 pounds. So as expected. And just to rub salt in the wound a little bit, the very next day I've gone back to Partridge to fish the Open, and I drew that peg. I've drawn 98, so I've had a serious weekend of potential draws that I could have caught a lot of fish on. But unfortunately, I was a day late. I had a nice day the next day. It was probably the last mugging day I had of the year. in that it's the spit on Covey 4. It's very much a carp area. 97 to 100, a lot of big carp live there, very popular area for catching some big fish. And it was still this high pressure, and I mugged a load. I think I had 120 pound. I won a match with 120 pound, and I caught, yeah, I mugged most of them, and I caught some down the middle on maggots late on. Other than that, what we've been on. So I fished the Western Pools Festival. We have a natural baits festival I look forward to every year at Western Pools. I don't want to go into that too much. Other than the first day, I drew a very unfavourable peg on canal, which I wasn't a fan of. And I struggled quite a bit to, I just like scraped away all day fishing corn and maggots with it being a natural bait. That's what we've got to do. It's all, no pellets involved, so I was a bit knackered on that front. And I've struggled my way to 90, no I haven't, I've struggled my way to 79 pound, which was 6 on the day, or 6 in my sections, big sections there, 15 peg sections, you like, and a 6. Sadly, pretty much got me out of it straight away. I had no chance, unless I won my section the second day. Maybe I could get the lower end of the frame, but I mean, it wasn't meant to be. I'm not going to touch too much on the second day because that is where we filmed our latest live match for the members. So we had a very different live match on making the most out of yet another special peg. But it was enjoyable, so I'm not going to touch on that one. And lastly, what's the last thing I've done? I've been Lingmere. I mean, I only ever get to go from sort of now onwards until about February, March. And I get to go to Steve's place, which is nice, and 10 miles down the road from my house. And I fished a lovely day there last week. And Lingmere, the same as everywhere else. Everywhere seems to have a pattern at the minute. The first half of your match is very, very difficult, and you've got to, I mean, not lose your head, scrape away, catching a few fish. And then the last 2 hours or 3 hours, it's 6 hours in Lingmere's case, it's like fishing in summer. Or it's good fishing anyway, you catch a lot of fish. And I've had a lovely day with so much surplus bait left over from the Natural Baits Festival. I think I've had a gallon of maggots, and it's been really windy, the peg I've drawn. I drew 21, which is on the island, but I couldn't reach the island because the wind was side on, so I've just thought, right, I'm just going to fish 6 metres on my top, getting down the edge with maggots, and I've threw 8 pints of maggots at them. I mean, throw loads of bait all over the place, and in the end I had a lovely, like, autumn type day catching on maggots on bottom. Caught some great big F1s, but it's definitely for me that it's been the signal of the change. I mean, them different baits are definitely taking over now. The pellets are getting a little bit, they're getting a bit sicker, than they're not eating as many baits, and now your natural baits, your maggots, your casters, all that sort of thing are really coming in late on, where you can feed a line really, really positively, feed them silvers off if needed at certain venues, and then have a really good late start catching some big ones. But so that's pretty much been my month. A bit slower than the chaos that we have all summer, but it's nice to wind down a little bit now. I've still got quite a few things coming up. I've got what have I got? I've got a 2-day event at Old Huff. I've got the Tunnel Bar Masters, which is still a massive event I'm hoping to look forward to, that with a bit of luck will go ahead in the end of October. And I've also got a festival at Southampton, which I'm looking forward to, something a little bit different. So a little bit of fishing still to go before the winter completely arrives, and a bit of luck, we'll still catch a few fish yet. But hopefully you've had a great month, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Okay folks, so just briefly, please like, subscribe and comment on our channel. We love you lot, please love us back.